I didn't become a billionaire at 25. I didn't explode into success at 30. I became one in my 50s. Not because I was slow, not because I lacked ambition, but because I was building something most people never invest in, a nervous system that doesn't panic under pressure. Most people spend their youth building skills. Some build networks. Some chase status. Very few build internal stability. Yet stability is what carries scale. Anyone can make money once. Not everyone can hold clarity when the stakes multiply. People think wealth comes from speed, from volume, from constant motion. But motion without internal order creates friction. Friction burns energy. Burned energy creates impulsive decisions. And impulsive decisions quietly destroy compounding. I learned this by studying minds like Warren Buffett and Kroc, not their headlines, not their net worth, but how they remained emotionally neutral while navigating decades of uncertainty, criticism, volatility, and pressure. They weren't calm by accident. They trained it.
Most people believe complaining is harmless, a way to release stress, a way to bond socially, a way to feel understood. But psychologically, complaining rehearses powerlessness. Every time you complain, your nervous system practices a specific posture toward reality. It practices, I am affected by external conditions. I respond emotionally instead of strategically. I discharge energy instead of directing it. That posture doesn't disappear after the complaint ends. It stays. Over time, it becomes your default identity. You stop solving, you start narrating. You don't notice this shift because it feels normal. Everyone around you does it. Entire cultures normalize it. But normalization doesn't make it neutral. Complaining strengthens the brain's threat circuits. It trains vigilance, not vision, reaction, not leverage. Your attention narrows. You see obstacles faster than options, problems louder than patterns. This matters because growth always increases pressure. More responsibility, more visibility, more judgment, more uncertainty. When pressure increases, and it always does if you aim higher, an untrained nervous system collapses faster than opportunity can stabilize. That's why many people sabotage growth unconsciously. Not because they hate success, but because success feels unsafe to a fragile internal state. Warren Buffett once said, "The most important quality for an investor is temperament, not intellect." Temperament is emotional control under pressure. Wealth multiplies responsibility. Visibility multiplies judgment. Leadership multiplies uncertainty. If your internal state is fragile, the mind seeks relief, not expansion. So it protects itself by staying small, by avoiding scale, by delaying decisions, by choosing comfort disguised as realism. Charlie Munger put it bluntly, self-pity is a terrible way to go through life. Complaining isn't just emotional expression, it's identity rehearsal, and identities compound.
Warren Buffett is often portrayed as a financial genius, but his real advantage wasn't intelligence, it was emotional consistency. Decades of investing through crashes, bubbles, panic cycles, media noise, while remaining patient, rational,
and detached from emotional crowd behavior. He didn't win because he predicted more. He won because he reacted less. Buffett waits. He observes. He allows clarity to mature. He lets information settle before action. That patience isn't personality, it's training. Buffett once said, "You don't have to be smarter than the rest. You have to be more disciplined than the rest." Ray Kroc's story reveals the same pattern from a different angle. For years, he drove across America selling milkshake machines, rejection after rejection, long drives, empty motels, minimal recognition. Most people would emotionally label that phase as failure. Kroc didn't. He treated it as positioning. He wasn't trying to escape discomfort. He was collecting information. Kroc later said, "Luck is a dividend of sweat. The more you sweat, the luckier you get." So when he discovered the McDonald brothers system, his nervous system was already disciplined enough to see scale, not just opportunity. He didn't rush. He structured. He standardized. He optimized. He didn't chase excitement. He built systems. Both men trusted slow alignment over fast stimulation. They understood something most people miss. Emotional neutrality gives strategic vision. Reactive minds see noise. Calm minds see systems. That's why late success often outperforms early success, because the mind is no longer impulsive. The law of attraction isn't wishful thinking. It's behavioral physics. Your emotional baseline quietly determines what you notice, how you interpret events, what risks you tolerate, which patterns become visible to you. If your baseline is frustration, urgency, or complaint, your decisions narrow. You look for relief. You rush closure. You sacrifice positioning for comfort. If your baseline is calm curiosity, your perception expands. You wait longer. You see asymmetry. You recognize timing. Over years, this difference compounds massively. Opportunities aren't floating in the air waiting for positivity. They emerge when perception becomes accurate enough to recognize timing, leverage, hidden structure. Buffett once explained compounding simply. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. That patience is emotional alignment. Most people interrupt compounding emotionally. They overtrade, they panic sell, they chase trends, they abandon systems too early. Not because they lack intelligence, but because emotional discomfort feels intolerable. Alignment means emotional consistency over long durations. That's attraction. My shift wasn't dramatic. It was surgical. I removed emotional leakage from my daily life. No venting, no dramatizing setbacks, no rehearsing frustration in conversation or thought. Not suppression. Refinement. Instead of asking how I felt, I asked what the situation required. Instead of reacting, I observed patterns. Instead of urgency, I optimized positioning. This mirrors something Sam Walton learned late in life. He once said, "High expectations are the key to everything." Not emotional expectations, behavioral expectations of yourself. Slowly, something changed. Decision quality improved. Energy stabilized. Mental clarity deepened. I stopped needing immediate resolution. And when clarity stabilizes long enough, momentum compounds quietly. This is how identity transforms, not by force, by subtraction.
Youth gives speed. Age gives depth. By midlife, you've experienced cycles, mistakes, patterns, false victories, hidden costs. You've seen what looks good early but collapses later. You've seen what feels slow but endures. If you integrate these lessons emotionally, not bitterly, your nervous system becomes calibrated. Ray Kroc didn't become wealthy young. Neither did Buffett. Neither did Ingvar Kamprad. Kamprad once said, "Most things remain undone because people think they're impossible." Late success is often more durable because it's built on internal order, not external excitement. Early winners often scale before their psychology matures. Late builders scale after it stabilizes. That's why many early peaks collapse and many quiet builders rise later but stronger. Late success isn't delay, it's compression.
Here's how you train this in real life. Pause before reacting. Let the nervous system settle, then decide. Replace emotional storytelling with factual analysis. Convert frustration into curiosity. Ask, what is this showing me? What pattern is repeating? What leverage am I missing? Charlie Munger warned, you must force yourself to consider arguments on the other side. That requires emotional stability. Reduce exposure to complaint-based social environments, not aggressively, quietly. Build internal silence daily. Moments where you don't explain, don't react, don't narrate. Stability compounds faster than intensity.
Most people aren't limited by intelligence. They're limited by emotional volatility. Your nervous system is your real operating system. Train it patiently, not to feel nothing, but to respond cleanly. Buffett summarized this better than anyone. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Alignment creates leverage. Leverage creates opportunity. Opportunity compounds into wealth. Not fast, not loud, but permanently. This isn't content for entertainment. It's a reminder to live with awareness. Take one thought from here and apply it today, not tomorrow. That's how change begins. Train the mind, carry the strength. This is Mindful of Strength for you.